Lycans and gentlemen, children of the night, nocturnals, night terrors, and all things that go bump in the night. Welcome to your monthly treatment of shock therapy. The doctor will see you now. Show me your woes, and I'll cure all that ails you. Consider me your night watchman for this evening's festivities here at Mind's Eye Theater. I invite you to violate curfew along with me for this graveyard shift. I am your horror host incarnate for this sold-out show. Now then, it's good to be back, and what is today, if not the final day of the calendar of June 2025? So, we are going to be closing out the Terrorbytes documentary, a celebration not just of survival horror, but considering that the timing was perfect for my 4-year anniversary of when I started live streaming. I thought I would celebrate all month long with a watch party for that, and all good things must come to an end, but still, it has been a pleasure with all of you. So, I found it interesting that for tonight's episode, the subject is a controversy within horror games, specifically titled Cursed and Controversial. So, let me read you what the official Twitter for Terrorbytes read regarding this episode, and it reads as follows. With episode 5 of Terrorbytes, we'll be deep diving into the stories and legacies of the censored, the cursed, and the controversial titles of horror gaming history, examining the titles beyond the tabloids. So, to me, this is a pretty good subject matter to tackle, pretty good note to end this documentary series on, if for no other reason than it will bring to light, and from the horror perspective, that age-old question: do video games and movies cause violence? And boy, it has been far too frequent for far too long. Less so nowadays, I must admit, but regardless, it has been taxing on the nerves for horror and gaming to, even for a stretch of time that stretches far back before, let me see, the modern era, let's call it. But still, it was difficult dealing with this ongoing, repetitive line of questioning where both horror, action, and to be fair, action movies, professional wrestling, and gaming were always a point of controversy. They were always the easy target. The media hysteria would constantly need a boogeyman, and horror made for an easy scapegoat. So I am happy that we're going to be tackling this within this documentary. I think it's interesting that they chose this to be the final note to go out on. I'm very much looking forward to this one, not just because it's the ultimate, it's the final episode of this docuseries, but I think that they picked a good note to go out on. Now, that conveniently leads me to what my film rating for this is. So, let's take a gander at the totem pole. Your choices in what your film rating for this this showing will be include the following. We have Bottom of the Burial, Shallow Grave, and High Stakes. Those are your options. So for me, I gotta be honest. Like I said, I like the subject matter. I'm hoping that they do right by it. I'm hoping that they really not just give their individual takes, but it'd be nice if they had a little bit of, what's the word I'm looking for? If they had a bit of psychological what's the not criteria, but psychological backing to not just say that this point is ridiculous and it's repetitive, and no matter all of the evidence that is provided to demonstrate the contrary, that video games and horror are not the culprits nor the scapegoats that they should be. It is continual that they get propped up as scapegoats. They get propped up for kangaroo court, so to speak. So I'm very much interested in what the perspectives of the directors, of what fans, of what developers, of what live streamers, what their take is going to be. But I really would like it if they backed it up with some kind of psychological background, backing, some kind of research experiments that have been done, case studies. I think that would be great in order to, I don't think that this will ever be put to rest, but it should have a definitive answer at the very least by us, the horror faithful. And I think it's imperative in order to do that because, of course, we all know, we all know the score. We all know that whenever there's any type of unfortunate goings on within schools or what have you, we know that it's always horror that's blamed. It's our music, it's heavy metal, it's professional wrestling back in the day. It's the movies. Good heavens, will someone think of the children? It's always the same rhetoric, and yes, it does get obnoxious. It does get repetitive, but I am hoping that they're able to stand up for horror in this and, you know, offer some legitimate facts and statistics to show that no, there really is nothing to fear when it comes to these beloved games that we adore so much, these genres that we collect and that we celebrate and that we enjoy. And they're not going to get into it, I imagine, but there are other more damaging forms of entertainment, not even entertainment, but what's the word I'm looking for, of indoctrination. Now, they're not going to go into that. That's not the purpose of this, but it still would be nice if they gave some kind of statistics and backing to dive deeper into why it is that these genres, these entertainment media are not harmful towards our youth and what have you, but also to be able to give us a leg up, we the fans a leg up, to provide us some kind of ammunition, you know what I mean? If in the event that we are ever, you know, pressed about what entertainment that we enjoy, if we can be provided the ammunition with which to defend our beloved genres, defend our choices in entertainment. Hey, and we all know, as far as horror fans, gamers, we all know those looks and stares that we get from people. And look, if you don't care about that, if you don't care, you know, what people think of you and your taste in clothing, your taste in music, your taste in video games, your taste in movies, hey, more power to you. I sincerely mean that. If you don't allow yourself to be bogged down by the opinions of others, believe me, that's genuine power. But if you are actually interested in rebutting a lot of these false statements that people make about the genre, false statements that people claim for the longest time, even dating as far back as comic books, that it was all so damaging for the youth. Hey, I'm all for it, and I hope that you are as well. So, the totem poll is up for you to vote as far as... Oh, wait, let me see. Sorry, I blocked that last week because I was getting a lot of annoying kids spamming my chat, especially on Kick. I don't know why it's so prevalent there. But regardless, if you're watching on YouTube, the chat will be available for you to vote in. Let me take care of a couple of housekeeping items, and then we'll jump right in. So, I naturally invite you to stream the show along with me. Feel free to queue it up on YouTube. The way that you would access it is that you would have to have had supported the Terrorbytes documentary, bought a digital copy of it, along with a Blu-ray and what other media what other media or what was it? Different packages that they had for the documentary. You would just look up Terrorbytes in your email. They would have emailed you a copy of the link and select episode 5 of the YouTube links. So this watch party is brought to you in partnership with Hotness TV. You will notice in the links in the description, if you're in the market, and why shouldn't you be, considering that we are in the summer holiday season and we have 4th of July around the corner. So if you are in the market for either Jabra headsets or Samsung devices, I do humbly request, if you can, use the link in the description. It serves as a nice kickback for the channel if you're purchasing either Jabra headsets or Samsung devices. And in addition to that, I was just talking about the benefits of horror. The Mind's Eye Theater is a proud affiliate of the upcoming horror documentary Mental Health and Horror. So once that comes out, I will do not just a watch party for that, but a review on the documentary. You'll notice the support link up top if you're of a mood. It would be greatly appreciated. Any shekels you could provide, I'll consider it your pound of flesh. So, we are coming to you live, streaming on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, Kick, X, Rumble, and Locals. In the enduring battle between Incarnate and the almighty algorithm, my fans are my strongest weapon. Therefore, get them likes up. Therefore, without further ado, I now present to you this creature presentation. Igor, throw the switch. Okay, and we are going to... Hold on, what happened here? Perfect. I really do hope that they make a sequel to this, because I feel like they left so much ground to cover. But in order for that to happen, I realize that there needs to be support for this edition, this version of the documentary, and I don't know, it was the weirdest thing. I don't really keep my finger on the pulse of each and every, what's the word I'm looking for, of how it is that each documentary that Creator VC comes out with. It's hard to gauge what the buzz around it is. Does it have strong promotion from fans? Does it have a strong reception? What have you? That's not the easiest thing to gauge. What do we have here? Prologue. Moth to a Flame. Okay. Agreed. Oh god, PT was so overrated. Darkwood. I can't wait to play that. That looks creepy. You're certainly huge. You're certainly massive. Oh god, give me a break until dawn. Visage. Yes, we get what video games are. is equivalent to X rating for a movie. Oh, what a shock. People who either don't understand entertainment or trying to make decisions for other people. That's another buzzword, desensitizing. Yeah, exactly. I've always hated that word, desensitizing. God. It's so funny that they picked Trump like he's the first president to say that. Or politician. Misplaced fear. Yep, what did I say? Comics. Uh-huh. Blah, blah, blah. American Senate Committee hearings, 93. Wow. Unprecedented, really? Because they were downloading people into the games. It's so stupid. Okay, dude. Like, really? Specifically, I love that. Oh, God. A land whale. See, on the one hand, yeah, pff. like they would ever ban any of that crap today. Captain Kangaroo? What the hell? See, this is why I'm not a fan of slasher and torture porn and all that. Hold on. Anyway, like, I always feel like slashers and things like torture porn, they do go overboard at times, and it can just be, you know, murder and mayhem just for the sake of it without any substance behind it. And then it becomes this annoying black hole where now you need to defend, in order to defend the whole of horror, you need to bring the slasher trash and the torture porn along for the ride, when really it can be gratuitous. I do agree with that. Yeah, big time. Yeah. Really? So they, oh god, this has always been such the frustration. Like, really? What an idiotic question to ask. Because whoever went out, whatever person would go on that date would enact that which they saw in a video game. Mm-hmm. Right. And they'll never speak about that. Oh my god. Well, then she didn't deserve you, buddy. God. I love how they always qualify that too. It's like, oh my god, this isn't just violence, it's violence against women. Like, and even the politicians said, especially against women, like, dude, if it's violence, it's violence. Like, the favoritism that they're demonstrating, it's just appalling. Doom. Yep. Absolutely. If you're talking controversy, good game to start with. Congressional hearings. And Doom was everywhere. I wouldn't say realistic. I've never seen that lighting element of the original Doom game. Right. Yeah. I don't subscribe to the whole pentagram thing, but yeah, I mean, you are playing as the hero. I'm only just noticing that his nails are painted black. Yep. Like I've always said, Doom was based on Evil Dead and Aliens. Damn, I remember playing the first Quake game. Or first or second, I don't remember. Quake was big. Unreal Tournament and Unreal Championship. Oh my god, I freaking loved those games. Unreal Tournament 2004 Frag House mod. It's crazy. I've never seen that lighting effect in the Doom game. Yeah, no kidding. It was different from film. And here comes the news coverage. Oh boy. Is this going to be Columbine? Mm-hmm. This was a huge story. Oh my god. Video games, the Scream movie. Yeah. It's so, like, not for nothing, but a lot of these people really are ghouls, man. Something like this will happen, and immediately, oh, I know what the solution is. It's got to be violence in our video games, in rap lyrics, in horror movies, in action movies. It's like, dude, really? Like, and mind you, we're the ones that are desensitized. It's like, bro, you are the people who need to politicize murder. You need, like, you jump on that and you push your agendas, but we're the ones that are insensitive. Really? If there were to be a horror movie about something like a different, like, horror at its best is used as an outlet, not in a preachy SJW way, but in a way that can allow people to, what's the word that I'm looking for? Almost in a cathartic way. You know what I mean? To exercise those demons, but it's not meant to exploit it. I would hope. But these people, man, I swear to God, these politicians, these news reporters, these preachers, these teachers, honestly, parents sometimes too. They go after all this entertainment form. It's like, bro, that is not the culprit. Yeah, the boogeyman. Thrill kill? What is this? I've never heard of this. I don't think. Uh huh. True. Oh, I remember. Thrill kill. I remember Primal Rage. I played the crap out of that. That was a mouthful. Okay. Pretty cut and dry, right? Okay. Oh, Jesus. Oh, my God. Uh huh. I don't think I've ever heard of this before. Have at it. Wow. Wow. I've never heard of this game before. Tormentor, Cletus, Mammoth, Belladonna. What? What? I am so confused. Cats, huh? Wow. Jeez. I realize this is like low pixel, low polygon count, but it's crazy to think that this was considered this level of gore was considered controversial considering what we would get in future generations, especially now. I just got finished last month playing Doom the Dark Ages. Talk about gore. You throw a frisbee that basically chainsaws into people's faces. Oh my god. Why? Wow. What the hell? Ah. That's why I never heard of it. Uh-oh. EA was like, nah, son. Yeah, the witch trials and whatnot. I always wish that they would make a movie about how these people who are so pro censorship, how they're the real ghouls, they're the real witches, you know what I mean? Oh my god. Really? Oh my god. Uh-huh. They did make a hip-hop game where people fight each other decades later. Def Jam something or other. Dr. Faustus. Sure. Oh my god. Was she dancing the Macarena? Yes, she. Oh my god, and his butt's out. Wow. Can we move on from this, please? Hahaha. I'm trying to figure out. Is that an Irish accent or Jamaican? Oh, there you go. Interesting. Oh, look at that. I have never heard of this game before, and I'm kind of glad that I... What the hell? There's a gorilla in this game? Oh, Jesus. What the hell? What the hell? Yeah, let's move on very quickly. Manhunt. Yeah, this is one of those, like, human horror games I've never been into, really. Man, Manhunt, Condemned. Eh. A friend of mine played Manhunt, either Manhunt or Condemned. I don't remember which one. Yeah. I don't know. I'm much more of like a dark fantasy, sci-fi horror type of fan. When it's just regular humans, it's God, this guy's neck. Uh-huh. Oh, really? I didn't know that it was like hostile. Oh. Snuff picture. Well, he certainly succeeded. It's kind of like, what is this? Escape from New York. It's so funny when media, like, how can I put it? Media are like bloodhounds for controversy. Like they want it to happen that way they can get headlines, and they will decry it and ridicule and poo-poo it. When in reality, I mean, it's like it's an orgy for them. You know what I mean? Oh my God! Wow. What? Yeah, it's crazy that our generation, us having kids, are we grew up on this stuff, so we realize the it's not the big deal that people made it out to be. Oh no, not Great Britain. instead of pushing buttons. Yeah, in order to, lady, they're not actually cracking a glass bottle over their kitchen sink and stabbing somebody. Like, what an idiot. Oh, instead of pressing buttons, no, you still have to press buttons in order to make these actions. Stupid. Oh no, and then this is, it's astonishing how people honestly reason things out and verbalize the stupidity in their head. It's like, do you think that, I forget the name of the comedian. I believe he played the paraplegic in Scary Movie 2. He made the joke like, really, they weren't, people act like there was never any violence before video games or movies, and they asked the question, hey, that guy back in Germany with the funny mustache, yeah, what video game did he play? Yep. Ugh, quote unquote. Yeah. Censored. It was so hard growing up with this type of rhetoric and narrative that was being pushed. Really? Poetry? Finally, I have a reference to Bioshock. Pretty much. Well said. Oh my god. Wow, really? Hmm. Red. Ah, I've heard of detention. Huh. Interesting. Yeah. Let people get a dose of what real censorship looks like. Hmm. Interesting. Jeez. I've he- I've heard of devotion. Maybe I'm thinking of detention. Okay. Jesus. What the hell? Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Wow, really? From Steam? Jeez. Silent Hill F. Oh, look at that. Oh. Eat it. God. It's so funny when these... Absolutely, right? Whole lot of fog, of course. That are ridiculous, by the way. Germany can be particularly obnoxious with that. Yep. Pretty much. Rule of Rose. What's up with this one? Really? Why? Huh. I did not hear of this. I've heard of Rule of Rose, but I've never heard of any controversy surrounding it. Yikes. Your face is eerie. At least your smile is. Because... Okay. Okay. What? What the hell? Of course it does. That's another annoying thing. Like it's hard to combat whenever someone claims that there's a controversy or claims symbolism within a piece of media, because basically they're lying. They're reaching. It's hard to fight that. Yeah, here we go. Yep. And as you can see, it can become a firestorm, and it's like you can't. It's hard to defend because these people are sensationalists. People making up these fabrications or resorting to hyperbole, so they're not interested in the facts. They're not interested in you telling them, actually, you're full of crap. What it is that you're claiming has nothing to do with what it is that the artistry, the vision. Like, trying to defend that can be difficult, if not impossible. Okay. For some reason, there's this feeling that binds you to the other person, like some kind of gravitational pull. I wondered what exactly it was, and I hypothesized that it was very close to expressing the horror of horror itself. There's this thing, crap, which means the aristocrats of the red crayon. There, the children evaluate each other and create a society. What the hell? The girls bind each other. Jennifer, the protagonist, seems to be bound. Yet, Jennifer is actually the one binding the puppy. The chain of binding occurs, and it reflects the social structure there. Or the rules within that orphanage. Jesus. That Cheshire cat face. What the hell? What the hell? Right. You're really selling me on this. What the hell? What? Oh my god. Yikes. I have seen firsthand, dating all the way back to when I was in 6th grade, how like terrible girls can be to each other. My god. Yeah, what? Interesting. I don't think I ever looked into the lore or the story of Rule of Rose. A light in the darkness. Okay. Okay. Little vague. True. God. What the hell is that? And I think it's something inherently human that will never go away. It's like a kind of instinct that humans have. Mm. Yeah. Did new horror games come out? Iron Lung. Oh. Yeah, I can see that. There have been times where a controversy does occur, and something that might have some similarity to it, immediately people try to, what's the word I'm looking for, censor it. I remember when the Dark Knight Rises controversy came out, Warner Brothers actually did have a movie, a mafia movie where mobsters are, and I think Anthony Mackie was in it. Mobsters are firing at theater goers at an audience through the through the theater screen, and they had to like edit that out. It was just so unnecessary, you know what I mean? Jesus, that's a big gun. I remember in 2002, the Twin Towers had to be edited out of the first Spider-Man movie. It was just like, oh, God. Mm-hmm. Yes, it is. More or less. That was in his heart. Oh my God. I could see that. Yeah, I mean, it's catharsis. Horror has always allowed for that. And that's what I was talking about before. Horror has always been an outlet. And I actually wrote a story like that where it was something along the lines of the Salem witch trials, but there actually are witches, or how can I, the censorious Puritans attempting to, attempting to cleanse their land and purge the minds of their good church going. Hold on, savor them. The Puritans are the true ghouls of the story. I would have to reread the story, but oh my god. I would have to reread that story that I wrote, but I do remember me writing some good material in there where what should be entertainment is, you know, God, really? Death Stranding. You know, the stories that about like monsters, those are the what get demonized and vilified and attacked by these puritanical figures. And it is these stories that become the victims, and these moral do-gooders that are the monsters. Clearly. Excuse me. Bloodborne. Okay. I'm not. This seems like a very strange tangent in this for what this subject matter is. Oh man. I am gonna play The Evil Within one and its sequel one day just to give it a chance, see how it is. I wonder, was Shinji Mikami, was he heavily involved in the second one? In the sequel? Anyway, I am gonna play it one day. I'm gonna play these games to see how they are. Resident Evil 0. I would like to play the prequel. Oh god, PT. Overrated. Watch out the gap in the door. It's a separate reality. The only me is me. Are you sure the only you is you? It's wild to me how un-Silent Hill that game is, and how because people didn't they couldn't get that game, you know, because of legality and whatnot. It got pulled from PS4. It got pulled from PS4 stores, and it was just inaccessible, and that's what made people want it more. Yeah, right. Yeah, talk about overrated. No, he's not. Jesus. Stop showing IGN. I remember people were people were selling their PS4s with copies of PT on it, and everyone like hiking up the price artificially. I'm just like, bruh, come on. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh boy, here we go. Putting more into it than actually is there. I hate when people do that to try to sound smart or try to make whatever it is that they're describing deeper than it is. Privacy, please. Oh, I mean, you know, it's horror. The baby was freaky. And they totally ripped that off in Silent Hill Village. Aw. Hmm. And not for nothing, but you saw Death Stranding, and shout out to Razorfist, like, who championed how overrated that one was. How overrated Death Stranding was, and how we dodged the bullet with PT, because this just would have been another dead end for Silent Hill. No pun intended. God. When the Silent Hill pinball machine came out, I felt the entirety of the internet have a collective groan. Mm. Yeah, very unfortunate. Yeah, they didn't consider it a flagship brand. Shocker, right? Oh, I'm glad they're giving that some shine. The recent Silent Hill Renaissance. Ghost in the Machine. We're almost an hour in, guys. If you can hit the like button on any of the platforms you're watching this on, it'd be appreciated. Haha. I was kind of hoping that they were talking about gaming creepypastas a little bit. Okay. Boredom. All right, that was a mouthful. The Sonic, what the hell was it? Sonic EXE. What do you call it? The Sonic EXE creepypasta. I always thought was interesting. They did make SCP video games, which I absolutely am going to play on the live stream, on a live stream, especially. Oh, what the hell? Especially the new one that came out. I'm very much looking forward to that. Maybe I thought an idea just came to my mind that I won't spoil, but they really should make a creepypasta video game, especially one about. There we go. See? I've always given way more credit to creepypastas and SCPs than I would something like found footage. Like, it's crazy to me how no one's ever. I wish someone would make like an anthology or a short story about like some kind of media that would tackle creepypastas for video games or just creepypastas in general. They tried with Channel Zero, but it was very dry, unfortunately. By the time they got to the second or third season with No End Room, yeah, you could kind of tell like it was stagnating a bit. It was missing that punch, you know what I mean? Jeez. That's wild. As long as it wouldn't be gimmicky, I very much would like to see a game based on creepypastas of other games, like take an element here, there, and like combine it into like its own story, and a game that just is a creepypasta, you know what I mean? And again, don't make it gimmicky. Oh, what? Hmm. Again, it's the strangest thing to me that it was like the lesson wasn't learned with something like Slenderman or the SCP games. Haha, funny.
But they really have a sense of breaking that barrier between player and game, and they reach out to the player.
Doki Doki Literature Club, really? Uh-oh. I can't read any of that chicken scratch. I almost said kitchen scratch. Oh, jeez. What? And how would people otherwise know that? You know what I mean? See, that's where the gimmicky part can. I don't know about that. That's where the gimmicky part. You have to tread a fine line. You know what I mean? I do like the glitching, but it can't be frustrating to play, or it's best. A game is best when it's not so complex that your players need to resort to tutorials. You know what I mean? I played many a game like that, and it can be like, I don't know. To me, it breaks the immersion. Epilogue. Reflections. Oh, Lord. Ew. Ew. It's just sad to me that. And look, I am way more excited about what comes out on the horror side with video games on an annual basis than movies, because oh man, movies have been such a disappointment. Now, call me a diva, but I just wish that we got more experimentation with video games. Again, I'm not knocking them at all. I on a yearly basis, I anticipate I anticipate more what is coming down the pipeline with horror games than I am horror cinema. Look no further than 2025. But I do wish, and partially the problem is because, the modern consoles, nothing's been popping, you know what I mean? And one of the reasons why I think that got a gaming PC at a perfect time is because there is much to explore, past and present, but I wish that there was more experimentation with horror gaming, many more properties to explore, many more genres to explore. Dark fantasy, for instance. I wish there were more werewolf games, more games about witches. I wish that, and obviously this costs money, but I wish there was more licensed properties like a Hellraiser that came out. What the hell? Among the Sleep. Could be. I don't remember what Among the Sleep is about. That's what I mean. Take advantage of the immersion factor and go places and do things that you can't with movies, or that movies aren't doing. Like, I absolutely love the gothic genre. I do wish that we got more of that with gaming. Jeez.
makes you feel alive.
This guy looks like Jack Black. What the hell?
There's a really interesting
What the hell? This is Outlast?
between the game creator and the gameplay and what happened.
Well then. I'm still not gonna play it because I don't play Outlast games. Soma. Eh. Deadly premonition. Eternal darkness. Ah, alien isolation. Yep.
Games start to explore more of the social conditions, especially with technology,
Karma. Wow. I was just thinking about that game.
that we haven't seen so far. Social media, cloud technology, artificial intelligence. I think that's going to be people to explore
I don't know about AI.
the genre. A lot of the best innovation will come from indie devs.
Yeah, I mean, it'll have to. What the hell? 10 over? Oh, yeah. Bye, sweet bye, sweet Carol. We Harvest Shadows. Paragnosia? Haven't heard of this one. Paranormal Activity. Give me a break.
To contribute to a lot of the innovation we see in horror games.
Oh God, don't start repping. Don't start repping VR. I'm surprised that's still around. And didn't they make a PSVR 2? That's it. Okay, that's a wrap. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed not just this watch party, but also the entirety of the Terrorbytes watches that we've done here at Mind's Eye Theater. If you are catching this watch for the first time, I will invite you to watch the first 4. Very interesting. Very interesting, very educational in terms of retracing the beginnings, the origins of survival horror. I will invite you to take a look at episodes 1 through 4 that I did for the watch party for Mind's Eye Theater. Very engaging. I do wish that the episodes 2 through 5 were as long as 1. That was because the first one was about an hour 40. Because all of them had 20 minutes worth of credits. Holy God. So I do wish that they would have cut back on the credits for the sake of the runtime. And look, I'll always be a demanding diva when it comes to my anthologies, when it comes to my horror documentaries. And if they were going to go five episodes, I just wish that we would have gotten 2 hours, an hour and a half to 2 hours of each episode, considering that there was plenty left on the cutting room floor, pun very much intended. This was a interesting episode to end off on. I said that at the top. I said that when I was preparing for this watch, and I commend them for that. I do think it's important to note the hypocrisy and the hyperbole around how video games and horror have always been pointed out and used as an explanation as to why societal issues exist. Can you even call it low-hanging fruit when it's not even part of the tree? But I'm glad that they were able to address a lot of it. I do wish that they went into more detail, especially showing statistics or case studies to show that no, in point in fact, it's not the case that video games are to blame for society's woes or the ills of what goes on in the home or with our kids or any of that crap. And just how ridiculous it is, and how, and again, this has toned down in recent years and decades, but it still was very difficult to grow up in that time, just because of hearing all the things that you like, that you watch, that you play, that you read, what you listen to, that all of this can be detrimental to your soul and society and all that. I'm glad that they were able to close on this, because it is an indivisible piece of the overall puzzle when it comes to either horror or gaming, and certainly survival horror. So my compliments to that. I just wish that the runtime was longer. I mean, it was 10 minutes longer than the last 3 episodes, but I'll always be a demanding diva when it comes to that. And overall, I still firmly believe that we have yet to get the definitive survival horror documentary. I may do an episode with my thoughts on this. I am going to be doing an upcoming episode to my channel discussing the importance of this documentary, just because there have been multiple kinds of documentaries of different of survival horror by independent YouTubers, independent content creators, but they usually run for like anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes. This was actually a full-on documentary. I do feel as though there was a lot yet to cover, so I'll consider whether or not I'm going to do like a live stream discussing my grievances or what I would have liked to have seen. But I absolutely will advocate for this, and I will ask that if you've watched this documentary, if you've watched me do these watch parties for the Terrorbytes survival horror documentary, I will ask that you support them. The creator VC has done a fantastic job with these documentaries, from FPS to Terrorbytes to In Search of Darkness 80s, a trilogy of documentaries covering that decade. The In Search of Darkness 1990 to 94, the upcoming In Search of Darkness 95 to 99, Aliens Expanded, The Thing Expanded, and definitely more on the way. But I do hope that we do get a sequel to Terrorbytes. So tomorrow we'll start a new month. I'm either going to do the live stream just because I'm back from vacation. I'll either do a live stream tomorrow, Tuesday, July 1st, or Wednesday, July 2nd. I do have a lot of catching up on other things in my life that I need to take care of. But I do hope that you will join me regardless. I do hope that you enjoyed this watch party. Once again, if you haven't checked out the other the other watch parties that I did for episodes 1 through 4, I happily invite you to do so. Normally, my live stream date and time is Tuesday at 9 p.m. I do have a gaming PC, so I will now be playing not just PC survival horror, but past survival horror titles. So I'm very excited about that. And I think that wraps everything up for me. Therefore, mark your calendars and say your prayers. I've been Incarnate, offering a word of caution. Fear the worst, so long you recognize who's best.
Your fate?
Time to subscribe to your fears.
Scary night, isn't it? Well, it's like right out of a horror movie or something.
See you in your dreams. Oh, come back anytime. Bring your friends.
Welcome to my nightmare.